Well, hi everybody, and here I am looking at my EARL radio. I'm just right now posting videos I actually shot about a month ago, and so I'm sort of watching my own videos too to catch up on where I am with this radio. And here we are looking at the top of it. We've spent a fair bit of time looking in the bottom. If you've been watching the videos on this, then you'll know that. So here's the cord I've put on it. It's a non-polarized cord. And just a few interesting things here right on the top of the radio, which I'll show you. One is, look at this connection right here. Now, if that isn't ready to short to the can, I don't know what is. It's probably not shorting, but hard to say, and certainly it has the potential to short. And look at this one here. I'm not sure what to make of that. What is that? It's almost like something got burned on there. That's really what it looks like. Don't see that on the others. So, now, lots of dirt down in the capacitor there. Yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of surprisingly clean in between the tubes on top of the chassis. But I think one of the comments I got already on the first couple videos I've put up is maybe I should take this transformer out. You know, and I'm really reticent to do things like that. I'm not looking to make trouble now. This is my own radio, so I can take more risk with it. I'm not under any time constraint. I could spend the rest of my days on Earth working on this. I don't plan to, but that's the reality of it. Now here's the interesting thing about this transformer, which if you remember, underneath the wires are solidified. That's the best way I can describe it, just solidified. If you look at this transformer from above, it's not quite as distinct on camera, but I think you can see that in fact the transformer is rotated slightly this way. Now the significance of that is in a factory setting, it's rather unlikely that a transformer like this would be put in on a slightly cockeyed angle. Maybe it's required to fit in here. I can't quite see what's going on. That would be bad engineering though, wouldn't it? Bad design and engineering. So there certainly seems to be sufficient clearance for it to be lined up straight. So it's not loose. So that might be an indication that this is a replacement transformer, which could explain a fair number of things we've seen underneath in terms of what looks like rewiring to me. Not much else up here to see, I don't think. Guess I'm just looking ahead to what kind of problems are ahead. Now, I guess the last time I was working on it, I never separated it from the, I never completely separated the radio from the cabinet, because these wires here run up to a control up there. Here you can see the control on the outside here. It's actually the on-off switch. Looks like it's a little loose the way those wires are moving. So I'm going to take that out so I can take away the cabinet and have the chassis out here all on its own. And surely that's an easy thing to do, even though I don't know who Shirley is. Okay, so it looks like we just pull this knob off over here. Yeah. Ooh, ah! Easier said than done. There's definitely no set screws or anything like that locking it in. Need more horsepower. Here it comes. Wow, that's pretty tight. Oh man. They're not usually this tight. Wow. Right to the very end. Pow! Yeah, nothing unusual about it. Okay, so that reveals the locking nut in there. I can now get at that, which I suspect is a little loose. Yeah, it's completely loose. Kind of surprised I didn't do this earlier. Wow, that wasn't turned on too. That was maybe 2 turns holding that on, if even that. There we go. I can get rid of the cabinet, which is it's a story in itself. Hey, it's pretty heavy. No wonder this radio weighs so much. So if this is a replacement, maybe it's even bigger than the original. You know, I'd expect to see some evidence of an original footprint in here too, and I don't. In fact, it looks almost like evidence of a fire here. I don't know. It's going to remain a mystery for now. Is that the original or not? I mean, it fits in there really good, so maybe it's a proper replacement from another identical radio. Or maybe I'm making it all up. Now take a look at this. These are the wires that run up to the on-off switch, which is over here now, running by itself. And look at them right in here. Sorry, just can't. There we go. There we go. The focus is kind of doing its own thing here, but it gives you an idea of how rough these wires are right in here. So we're probably on our way to replacing all these. The power ones feel pretty flexible, but look at them, even there. Look at that. Can you see that? Yikes! That's going to the on-off switch. And then it's just going through the chassis here. So we'll have to replace those at some point too. Got more of this non-electrical tape on here. At least I think it's non-electrical tape. It looks like friction tape to me, the kind of stuff you put on hockey sticks. Sorry. Gotta watch out, I don't hold the camera in one hand. And the same hand I'm working with, so what a mess. Wire-wise. Well, I'm not sure there's too much else we can see from the top here of great interest to us. And there's the that would be the output transformer, and down below it here is the coil that's forming part of the power supply, the coil, that one wire of which appears to go to ground. Can we see the wires up here? No, maybe they're coming out the bottom of the coil where I really can't see them down there. There's some way down there. Yeah, look at. way down there, going right into the hole, are two, they look like similarly colored wires. You know, the colors are pretty hard to see on these wires because they're under. So there's the other two. Now wait a minute, there's coil, there's wires coming out of the coil there. Some way down there. Right down there. And then there's some right in there. Those look like the induction coil wires coming up, coming over. Well, so much for that theory. They look like they're going right to the voice coil here. Let's go back. Let's see what's going on here. Well, I'm sure two of those wires are coming out of that coil. They come up, they go over, and they sure seem to get all mixed up in here. What's going on here? Those are the, yeah, you can see the voice coil wires kind of down in behind the speaker frame itself, and they're coming up to these two terminals. So these are the voice coil terminals. That's a little better. So once again, none of this is making sense to me at all in my head. What about up there? Can we see up through there? Yeah, so I can see the wires coming out of the output coil there at the bottom. See them? And they come out and they curve upwards and go around. And this black one, right, this black thing right on the top here is one of them. And it goes to the voice coil. So that all makes sense. What's not making so much sense is what's happening with that big big coil there. Is that the wires there? There's the, okay, so there's the two wires going into that coil. Right? Kind of center screen there. And they go up under the black wire. That wire is an output transformer voice coil wire, and they come over and they connect to all this. What? Wait a minute, that black one's not going to the voice coil, it's going down. Yeah, it's going to the far voice coil. So what do we got here? Way down the bottom there. Way down there is one voice coil, and then right up here at the top is the other voice coil with 3 leads going to it. So is that all just like handy ground point? Is that what that is? Maybe that's all it is. Let's get out the voltmeter and check that. You know, I can't remember if I got a schematic for this radio or not. I think I did. No, it's not the ground. Yeah, better get a schematic. Better scare one up. no, I don't see a schematic here in my shop, so I'll have to go and check out and see if I've got one for this. I think I don't, because that's why I don't know what the heck is going on still. Wow. This one might be a challenging one to bring back to life. I mean, I don't even know if the tubes are good. I don't know if the power supply transformer is good. I don't know if I'm good. Yeah. Now I can get rid of this rather sad arrangement here that somebody did. Here, let's just nip it off. Piece of power cord somebody used to extend the antenna in the ground. Get that out of the way. There's some more of that this stuff here that I was showing you earlier. There's some more of it right here. It almost looks like a putty that's been put on and squeezed around. It's probably a tape that's just not done well over the years and has turned into, you know, they'd be heated up here. It's going to get heated here. Wouldn't get heated over here though, but still is just as dry. And I mean, let's flip it over now. Yeah, this is not one I would rush to turn on, that's for sure. There she goes. Oh, look at how familiar that is. If I remember right, I got to put a block up under here. That's a little high. This one's probably a little low. Oh no, it's not bad. You have to see, all that time I spent playing with blocks when I was a kid paid off. Look at that. Okay, and now we're back. Just a quick review of all the stuff I did in the earlier videos. There's the capacitor, poorly installed. It's kind of floating around there. I don't like that. There's all this wire, which is hard as a rock. And if I were to try to take that transformer out, I'd literally have to just saw this right off down here to get it out, because these are they're solid. Here's the wires going to the switch. You know, it's very suspicious that all these are taped here. I mean, that also suggests this transformer was replaced. And then all this gook here, which is wax, probably come down out of the transformer when it overheated. That'd be my guess. Yeah, so we have some easy capacitors to do. Here's an easy one here. A couple other easy ones over here. Those aren't going to be a problem. Even these ones, which I believe was connected here, these are easy to get at. Oh, this guy's just laying in here. Okay. Let's not move him around too much. I left him there for a reason. Then we got this burned up resistor floating connection thing. These are the capacitors that are going to be pretty tough to get at down in here. These two here. This guy. But I think they all got to go. And we're going to probably find ourselves forced into changing some of these wires here that are just, the insulation is just shot on them. If I want to be turning this on 20 years from now, hey, maybe I should be working on myself instead of the radio. So, solid like a rock in here, as you know. Oh, here's another capacitor up in here. that goes into this this cam, which no doubt is some kind of coil in here. We'll have to take that off and take a look inside. And of course, you know, there's always a chance that one of the IF coils is open. Ooh, look at that! There's a resist. Look at these capacitors way down here. And then there's this whole raft of dog bone resistors across here. Probably a couple on the other side. Doesn't look like it. Something under there. A little regular resistor under there. They're probably all bad. I don't know. Who knows? I don't usually say that about resistors, but who's to say? And this one's crying out loud. It's connected to nothing. Did I do that? I don't think I did that. It's interesting, you know, the way the resistors are built. They have two tabs, and they push them through this board, and then they use the tab, you can see it over here, as the connection point, the terminal connection point. Interesting, interesting design. It's a little bit clever, because it made sense with the resistors of the day. So, yeah. Lots of challenges coming, no doubt about that. I think I better get my soldering iron warmed up here. Okay, so I did manage to get a schematic for this. Rogers model 1076, 1075. Majestic models, Marquette. Rogers models, here I'm not really showing this to you properly, am I? Rogers models 1045, 1051, Majestic model, Madeline, DeForest-Crosley, EARL. So this radio was built under quite a few different names, and probably very different looking cabinets, I'm going to guess. But it looks like this particular design, well, it's really two completely different designs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tubes. Oh, yeah, it's upside down. How many tubes in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 right across the back of the radio. 5s. So, you know, it's lining up with this. And this is pretty small, even for me to look at here with my own eyes. It's pretty small. Antenna, modulator and oscillator, IF amp, AF amp, and diode detector, and output. And a rectifier tube, of course. Doesn't look too complicated on here. Looks pretty simple, in fact. So hopefully with this, I'll be able to sort out what's going on with all these wires down here. And maybe I can find a better version of this too, because this is really hard to read, this one. So thank God I got one. Look, I got 3 pages. This is that's the write-up on it. Yeah, there. I turned the right way up. And not only that, but this too. Now wait a minute, is this for another radio? Let's just check this out. This one says Rogers Majestic 11. Typical layout for all DeForest-Crosley and Majestic and Rogers AC receivers. Well, this looks totally different. In fact, look, I think it's got a separate power supply here. Power supply and then the radio. So this is something totally different. This one, alignment instructions for DeForest-Crosley, Majestic, Rogers, AC receivers. So this must be some like a general process. Oh, it looks very specific. This is continued from sheet 11. This is sheet 11. Continued on data sheet 12. So this is one page. What a long explanation. Look at that. I got to read this. This must be a real piece of education here, because they usually don't write that much. And this was a very early radio, 1935, I think it was. 1935-36, and it's a Nucleodyne, which is the style of radio circuitry just before the heterodyne. That's my understanding of it anyway. Again, you know, don't confuse me with an expert just because I have all this stuff around me. Lots and lots and lots of stuff I don't know, especially around the history of things. But I'm pretty sure the Nucleodyne was one step before the heterodyne, and the heterodyne circuitry is still used today. The whole concept in that. So I don't think we're going to do too much else right at the moment. I might have to do some work on this a little later. Of course, in video time, that means just a moment from now on the next video.